Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Don't forget that this is broadcasted on Noonan's own WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. And I'm happy to be here on this Tuesday. We've got a lot of sports to talk about. It is NBA opening night. I'm excited about that. Going to talk about the World Series preview between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Also going to talk about the Monday Night Football games from last night. And I will reveal my top 10 NFL teams because it is Tuesday. In honor of the herd hierarchy on Colin Cowherd's show, I like giving my top 10 NFL teams on Tuesdays. Don't forget, at noon is the scoreboard show for Week 10 for high school football. That is aired on Georgia Alabama Sports Live's Facebook page and YouTube channel. What I'm going to start implementing on Tuesday mornings, right around 9 or 10-ish, I'm going to have my show recap of the Monday Night Football game and anything else that I did not cover over the weekend. I failed to mention about the World Series on yesterday's show. I went the full hour. College football, NFL, it was just a jam-packed show. But now I'm going to talk about the World Series, opening night, who are some of the hot teams in the NHL. The MLS playoffs are underway, and congratulations to the New York Liberty for winning their first ever WNBA title. Let's get to it. I'm excited. I'm going to start the show talking about the World Series. I admit, I don't like either team, but I think that the baseball fans are going to be happy about this World Series matchup. You got the two biggest markets in our country. I mean, this is a rivalry just between cities. New York, LA, East Coast, West Coast. I mean, this would have been great in the 90s because we had a rivalry with the hip-hop with East Coast and West Coast. The New York Yankees, winners of 27 World Series titles. They have not won a World Series since 2009. They had that incredible run winning 4 out of the last 5 World Series titles in the late 90s. And I do believe that the New York Yankees are due to win a World Series. The signing of Juan Soto was absolutely incredible. You got Aaron Judge. You've got Giancarlo Stanton. The pitching is solid. Garrett Cole is going to end up starting game 1. The Dodgers, they're back in the World Series for the first time since 2020. They've had some postseason heartbreaks, but with the acquisition of Shohei Ohtani, it shows that the Dodgers are willing to do whatever it takes to get that player over the top. Now, Shohei Ohtani's not going to pitch until next year. I mean, imagine how explosive the Dodgers are going to be next season. I'm impressed of how the Dodgers are doing this because they don't have Clayton Kershaw. They don't have Walker Buehler. They don't have Julio Urias. Remember, Julio Urias used to be a dominant postseason pitcher for the Dodgers. I mean, they're doing it with the 3 free agent acquisitions. Tyler Glasnow. I mean, they're doing it with Yamamoto. He's actually doing pretty good. But it is the bats. I mean, Mookie Betts has been hurt most of the year. It's Shohei Ohtani. It's Freddie Freeman, who, he's injured. He might not even play in this series. You got Max Muncy. I'm very impressed of how the Dodgers are able to get to this point. And really, it's Dave Roberts going up against the New York Yankees. Remember, he was the one in the 2004 ALCS that stole second base, that gave the Red Sox signs of life to come back from the 3-0 deficit. I honestly didn't think the Yankees could ever recover from that World Series. They were able to, get big-time free agent acquisitions like CeCe Sabathia and A.J. Burnett, and they went on to win the World Series in 2009. And it was time because there was so much pressure with the signing of Alex Rodriguez. They had Hideki Matsui. They had some great players. And the Yankees have had some great players over the years as well. I love the superstar matchup between Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. I still think that the Yankees have the advantage in pitching. The Dodgers do have the home field advantage. But just looking back, because these two teams have met in the World Series many times. All right, so let's go back. 1981, The Dodgers ended up beating the Yankees 4-2 in the World Series. 78, the Yankees ended up beating the Dodgers. Remember, those were the Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson years. 77, that was when Reggie Jackson hit those 3 home runs. And then in 1963, the Dodgers ended up beating the Yankees. I think those were the Sandy Koufax years for the Dodgers. They were called the Los Angeles Dodgers. 56, remember, they moved from Brooklyn to Los Angeles in 1958. So this is the World Series where the Yankees ended up defeating the Dodgers. 55, the Dodgers ended up beating the Yankees. Yankees defeated the Dodgers in 53. I know Don Larson's perfect game. And, I want to make sure to get this one right because all the baseball historians, and I'm a big baseball historian, I want to make sure I've got the year right for Don Larson's perfect game. So if you're a baseball fan, you don't have to call me out on this. It was 1956. Thank you. Thank you, Google. A lot of history with these two franchises, even though back to the days of Brooklyn with the Brooklyn Dodgers. It's the Dodgers and the Yankees. And like I said before, I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. So, yeah, this kind of hurts a little bit. I don't want to see the Dodgers win a World Series. It's rare that I root for the Yankees, but I'm rooting for the Yankees in this World Series. I think the New York Yankees are going to win their 28th World Series. And really, this is the first time since 2018 we had two historic franchises, passionate fan bases that are going to be watching this World Series. I expect this World Series to get a big rating. But I do think that there are parts of the country like the Midwest. I mean, they're baseball fans in the Midwest. I mean, they love the Cardinals and the Cubs. I think they'll watch this World Series. I don't think they're going to watch it too much in the South. I think that Braves fans are a little hurt that the Braves are not in the World Series. And the Braves just do not like the Dodgers and the Yankees. So do they watch this World Series or are they invested in college football? California is going to get a huge rating because there are Dodgers fans everywhere. And there are Giants fans that absolutely hate the Dodgers that want to see the Yankees win this World Series. So my prediction, Yankees in 7. It's going to be an all-time classic. I mean, it is October baseball. We are going to wrap this thing up in November. I think that the World Series MVP is going to be Aaron Judge. I mean, the Dodgers don't really have pitching anymore. I mean, they're doing it with duct tape. I mean, look at all the pitchers that have been out. I don't know if Tyler Glasnow is going to be pitching. I mean, I was looking at the box score in the ALCS with the Dodgers and the Mets, and in the NLCS with the Dodgers and the Mets, and I didn't see Tyler Glasnow pitch. But I Flaherty might pitch. I mean, Yamamoto. I mean, I have no idea who the Dodgers Game 1 starter is going to be. But Game 1 of the 2024 World Series is going to take place this Friday at Dodger Stadium. All right, let's go ahead and take down that graphic. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some Monday Night Football. Baltimore Ravens, they get the 41-31 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lamar Jackson throws for 5 touchdown passes. Derrick Henry, 15 carries for 169 yards. Derrick Henry might be the second best free agent acquisition in football behind Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley is having a little bit more of an impact on the Eagles because it is Lamar Jackson. And I do think the Baltimore Ravens are the biggest threat to knock off the Kansas City Chiefs and deny the Chiefs a three-peat. But they had their shot last year when they were the number 1 overall seed, and they couldn't get it done at home. But a big road victory. The Baltimore Ravens jumped up to that 34-10 lead. Then Baker Mayfield led them back. And my thoughts and prayers to Chris Godwin. He gets hurt. He's going to be out for the season. I mean, that is detrimental to the Buccaneers if they want to compete in the NFC South. And right now, the Buccaneers are 4-3, tied with the Falcons. They got a massive showdown coming up next week against the Atlanta Falcons. Both teams are 3-3. Winner is going to be in the driver's seat for the NFC South. As far as the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, they're just going to keep on winning. They got an easy schedule because they've already played the Chiefs and already lost to them. I see them rattling off a bunch of wins. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are the second best team in the AFC. That game against the Houston Texans on Christmas, I hope that you renew your Netflix subscription because that game is only going to be on Netflix. That is going to be a massive game. I love how the schedulers set that up, and now Netflix stock is just going to rise. I mean, people end up getting their Netflix subscription during Christmas anyway because they're binge watching all those holiday shows. Why not watch an incredible football game that's going to be on Netflix Live, the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans? Why not? All right, the other Monday Night Football game, by the way, was only on ESPN+. The Arizona Cardinals get the win over the Los Angeles Chargers. I mean, the Chargers, they don't have a whole lot of pieces, a lot of injuries. Justin Herbert was sacked 3 times. Kyler Murray ends up getting another victory for the Arizona Cardinals, which are not a good team yet. I think that they could get better, and Kyler Murray is the difference maker. And I think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be just an explosive rookie. You know, I think that Kyler Murray is going to get wins all by himself. And this is a big win for the Arizona Cardinals, which actually leapfrog the San Francisco 49ers. And I think the 49ers, if you look at the schedule, they might be – the Rams are 2-4, so they're in third place. The 49ers could end up being in fourth place when it's all said and done just because of the injury bug. And I think that this is going to be just a down year. I will get later on in the show talking about the NFL injuries because I do have some thoughts, especially certain fan bases. I don't want to give that away. But it was a good doubleheader on Monday Night Football. I love the Peyton and Eli simulcasts. Always great. All right, moving on because we still got a lot of show to get into. Congratulations to the New York Liberty. First time WNBA champions. You know, in the introduction of the league, the New York Liberty have been, close, not quite to the mountaintop. They've been one of the oldest franchises in the WNBA. They've never got the bag, but finally the city of New York can celebrate a WNBA title. You know, New York has had their championships the last couple of years. NYCFC ends up winning the MLS Cup, and now the New York Liberty win the WNBA title. It was not from controversy. Obviously, there was controversy, rather. They end up defeating the Minnesota Lynx 67-62 in overtime. Congratulations to Breanna Stewart, who right now could be the most decorated basketball player in the world. 4 championships at UConn, and now she's got a WNBA championship. Go celebrate that. Have yourself a day, Breanna Stewart. Sabrina Ionescu, who did not really have a great finals. She ends up getting a ring. I think that's great for her as well. I feel bad for Nafisia Collier, probably the best defensive player in the WNBA. The Minnesota Lynx are going to be fine. I mean, they've had championships with Maya Moore, but I think that this was a tough one. I kind of feel like the refs favored the New York Liberty, and there were some questionable calls that could have went Minnesota's way. I think Minnesota could have won this easily. All right, today is the day. Could history be made? It's the NBA opening night. We start with the Knicks and the Celtics. The Celtics are the defending NBA champions, and let me tell you something. They're bringing everybody back. The Celtics are the odds-on favorite to win it again. They are just doing it with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. You have Derek White. I mean, you also have Drew Holiday. I can't believe that the Bucks just gift-wrapped Drew Holiday to the Boston Celtics. This Knicks team, they're going to look pretty good with Karl Anthony Towns. You got Jalen Brunson. You got Mikal Bridges. You've got some pieces that the Knicks have. I'm excited about seeing the Knicks and the Celtics. I think the Knicks could possibly steal one tonight just because I think that this was the Eastern Conference Finals I really wanted to see, the Knicks and the Celtics. They had all those injuries, and that's why the Pacers ended up beating the Knicks. But how is the Philadelphia 76ers going to look with Paul George? And the Clippers, when I had my NBA preview show, I actually picked the Clippers to be a playoff team, and that was based off of the health of Kawhi Leonard. Well, Kawhi Leonard is not going to play in the opener in that new arena for the Clippers, but he might miss some time. And then the nightcap, history might be made at the Crypto Arena tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. If Bronny James makes the roster, we could see LeBron and Bronny playing on the court. You know, the Griffies are going to be in attendance. Could be a historic night in all of sports for fathers and sons everywhere that have wanted to see their son play, and they get to play side by side. This is your moment. So cherish it. LeBron and Bronny could be playing together in a basketball game. First of all, the fact that LeBron James is playing at a high level and he has a son who is possibly could make an NBA roster in a regular season game. I just think that's fascinating in itself. I mean, even if Bronny was in the G League, that's an accomplishment. To play at a high level and to have your son also play professionally, and it doesn't matter if it's at the NBA or the G League or Bronny's playing overseas. That's a huge accomplishment, and you should be proud for that. I know we want to see history tonight, but I think that that's just an accomplishment in itself, and I know that LeBron James has got to be happy, that his son is actually playing professionally, whether it's making an NBA roster or playing in the G League or playing overseas. And I think that Bronny James, it's a really good story. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Let's not talk about the whole nepotism or Bronny is only on the Lakers because of his dad. I mean, we all know that, but I still think it's really cool for sports fans to get to see something historic. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get that graphic up. I'm trying to get it on. All right. My NFL top 10 teams. Just like the herd hierarchy, I like giving you my NFL top 10 teams. Starting with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to be tough to beat, even with all the injuries. We had Juju Smith-Schuster go out of that game against the 49ers. They've got the backup Kareem Hunt, who came off the streets. He was on the Chiefs back in 2017. Rashid Rice is going to be out. Hollywood Brown is going to be out. But it's Patrick Mahomes doing Patrick Mahomes things. Did you see that run down the sideline against the 49ers? I was blown away. I was blown away with some of the plays that Patrick Mahomes made on third down. And it's Patrick Mahomes, but it's not just Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid coming off a bye. He's now 22-3, by the way. It's the defense. Patrick Mahomes is having his worst statistical season of his career. The 49ers had him at his worst passer rating in his career. They dominated him. He threw 2 interceptions in that first half. But because the 49ers offense was incompetent, Patrick Mahomes was able to get the job done, and the Chiefs are 6-0. I think they maybe lose one game to the Buffalo Bills. But we're talking about a Chiefs team that could possibly go undefeated in the regular season. Now, when they get into the playoffs, I think the Ravens could give them trouble. I think Buffalo could give them trouble. But the Chiefs are going to figure this out when they get to the playoffs, right? They struggled in the regular season last year. They still won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are going to be at the top of the mountain no matter what, as far as I'm concerned. They are number one because not only they're undefeated, but they have the best player on the planet. Now, the team that I think that could give them trouble in the Super Bowl, and this is going to be my Super Bowl pick, the Lions and the Chiefs, that's the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff could win MVP. They have the best offensive line in football. Because of that, Jared Goff is going to be efficient. Now, it worries me that Aiden Hutchinson is out for the year. That Lions defense is going to take a step back because of that, although I still think they need to go get a pass rusher in free agency, maybe get a trade. But the Detroit Lions, they showed me something after going into Minnesota and giving the Vikings their first loss. That was a great back-and-forth game. 31-29, the Detroit Lions are now 5-1, and they are my number 2 team in the NFL. Number 3, the Vikings, they slipped down just a little bit because they lose to the Detroit Lions. But let's be honest, this is the best division in football. You got the Vikings at number 3. You got the Packers at number 4. The Bears are 4-2. I'm excited that this division exists and these all these teams are going to battle each other out. Okay, so the big controversy here on my rankings is why didn't the Baltimore Ravens jump up ahead of the Packers when they have a 5-2 record? Well, I think that the Baltimore Ravens, they played a lot of close games, but they are 5-2. They might jump up in my rankings as long as they continue winning. It's pretty even. The top 5 teams could easily win a Super Bowl. Now let's go to the bottom 5 here on this top 10 list. The Buffalo Bills, they're 5-2. They're winning against the teams they're supposed to win against. But what worries me is that they got, blown out by the Ravens on the road. And I think that when the Buffalo Bills take on, teams that are better than them, can Josh Allen overcome that? And, we saw firsthand against the Baltimore Ravens that the Ravens just dominated that game. Same with the Texans. Texans are 5-2. I got them at 7. They did lose to the Packers and the Vikings, but the Texans have all the ingredients to make the playoffs, win the division, and make a deep run in the AFC. I got the Commanders at number 8. I think the Jaden Daniels injury does concern me. Hopefully he'll be back. I was very impressed with Marcus Mariota coming in relief, but I still have the Commanders at number 8. Number 9, new to my ranking, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are 5-2, but I think they found their quarterback. I think that Russell Wilson has found a sign of life. Just when we thought his career was over in Denver, he finds new life in Pittsburgh, and I think that this is the perfect quarterback for Arthur Smith's system. The Steelers just have a great defense. I cannot wait to see the Steelers and the Ravens because that is going to be a must-see TV moment. And so I got the Steelers at number 9. Number 10, the Eagles. They are starting to hit their stride. Saquon Barkley looks amazing, and maybe the Eagles might start becoming that team in the NFC. That I still think that the Eagles and the Commanders, when we get to see those matchups, it's going to be must-see TV. But I do have the Eagles at number 10 because they had a very impressive win on the road against the New York Giants. That's my top 10 NFL teams. Yeah, it changes, varies from time to time. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on as we've got some of the NFL injuries that really concerned me. I want to talk about Deshaun Watson, and I want to talk about the Cleveland Brown fans. Classless. Just classless. So Deshaun Watson tears his Achilles. He's out for the season. The fans chanting, "You deserve it," was one of the most horrific, classless, disgusting things I've ever seen in a fan base. Look, I know as a Browns fan, you're frustrated. You thought that Deshaun Watson was going to be the savior. You see what Baker Mayfield is doing in Tampa. You get Deshaun Watson, who at the time was the more physically gifted quarterback. Physically gifted quarterback does not always translate to wins. Deshaun Watson had his injury, and he sat out for 2 years when he was going through all of his allegations, and it has not panned out. This might be the worst trade in football, but he's still a human being. My heart sunk when I saw the tears in his eyes and the fans chanting that terrible saying, and I hope that Deshaun Watson is able to recover from this. His time in Cleveland is done, and now Cleveland's going to Jameis Winston, and I think that the Cleveland Browns need to address the quarterback situation. But hey, we've been through this time and time again. Look at all the quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns have went through. Why couldn't they just be satisfied with Baker Mayfield? He won you a playoff game. Are you kidding me? The Browns fans, it concerns me. The Giants fans booing over Saquon Barkley, that doesn't really bother me. But this really bothered me. And then, of course, the injury bug is, catching up to the league. Nobody has been more snake bitten when it comes to the injury bug than the San Francisco 49ers. It's official. Brandon Ayuk has a torn ACL. He is out for the season. Hopefully the 49ers will get Christian McCaffrey back for the Cowboys game. But you had Jawan Jennings, you had Deebo Samuel. They were also out. And I think that it's time that the 49ers fire their strength and conditioning coach. And it's also time that the 49ers fire their special teams coordinator, because every Kyle Shanahan coach team has never cared about special teams. And I think it's a culture thing, and it's really bothersome. All right, real quick, NHL, the top teams in the league right now, the New Jersey Devils have the best record in the NHL, the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers right behind them in the Eastern Conference, the top teams in the West, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Dallas Stars, the teams that have yet to win a game, and I'm baffled that these two teams made the Stanley Cup final in 2016 and 2017 in back-to-back years. The Nashville Predators 0-5. What's going on with the Preds and the Sharks? They have not won a game yet. My lowly San Jose Sharks, which I thought that the number one overall pick, who's out, by the way, I thought that having Will Smith come in, I thought that the Sharks may turn the corner. But I was speaking to Tom Callahan at the River Dragons training camp. You know, he's a big NHL fan, and he says the Sharks are terrible. So I take Tom Callahan's word. By the way, Kucherov for Tampa Bay. Big shout out to Jay Rescher from WDAE down in Tampa, Florida. He covers the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's got 7 goals on the season, and that is leading the NHL. Real quick before I sign off, MLS playoffs. Atlanta did defeat Orlando over the weekend. They get into the playoffs. They will play in that. It's called a play-in game, but that first round of the MLS playoffs, they are taking on Montreal. And a welcoming sight, they welcome back Joseph Martinez. And I think the odds-on favorite to win the MLS Cup this year is Inter Miami. They have the margin of victory, 30 goals, 74 points. That tells you the superstar power makes a difference in the MLS, as Lionel Messi has taken this league by storm. And I wish that we could actually get more into MLS, because I think that, you know, with soccer being the best, most popular sport in the world, and the World Cup is coming to the United States in 2026, especially in Atlanta, we really need to get more involved in soccer. And, you know, I'm a play-by-play soccer guy. I was calling games for the Columbus Rapids, and then now I'm calling games for Columbus United FC. So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching another edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you next time. For those on the radio audience, we're taking a break. When we come back, I'm going to have my high school scoreboard show, which is airing on Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook page and YouTube channel approximately at noon. You can catch a replay of the show on WQEE Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.